Okay, our third and hopefully final video for today, Friday, November 7th, solving compound inequalities. Now we've practiced writing the inequality, but now we're going to have a compound inequality where we're going to find a solution for our variable that will make the inequality true. Now here's the deal though. A compound inequality, like a compound sentence, are two inequalities made up to make one. Okay, so just like compound sentences, two sentences combined to make one. Now here's two ways you can do it. Here's an option A, to where this technically separating it into one inequality and then solving it just like you've done before, like equations and inequalities. And then this side is another inequality. You can separate and solve it. So that's one method. Here's another one. I actually like this one better because you don't have to separate it. Set it up, write exactly how it is, pay attention, don't forget your equal sign if it says equal because they'll throw off your graphing. Notice when you solved these up here, notice they moved, of course, getting to isolate the variable, they added the 2 to both sides. So notice what happens. You're going to add the 1 to both sides because what you're doing is really separating it, but you don't have to write it all out. So they're moving the 1, they're getting rid of the 1 by subtracting it, and then working it, watch your negative signs. And then you have -4 less than -2x less than or equal to 8. Now remember, you need to get x by itself, so you need to divide by -2. Thing is, you have to do it to every single term. And what do you do when you divide or multiply by a negative with inequalities? It reverses the sign. Now your final answer, watch this. Remember when we talked about and statements? Your negative, okay, it needs to be in numerical order. You need to rewrite it this way. Okay, so don't leave it like this. Yes, they represent the same thing, and if you graphed it, it's going to represent the same thing. But in math, our standard procedure is having your inequalities in numerical order, and it makes it easier then to graph it. All right? Okay, now or statements. Or there's not really a shortcut to it. You're just going to have to write them both out, but you're going to solve them separately. Okay, so your 3y minus 5 is less than -8. You're going to solve it just like an inequality. Solve down for your variable, isolate your variable. Same thing over here. You're going to rewrite it, solve it, and then y is greater than 3. Rewrite your solution like this though. Or, actually I'm okay if you want to write it like that with an or in the middle, but make sure you have an or, and then graph it. All right? Okay, so let's just do one of these practice ones. Let's do 4 and 6. Let's do 4 and 6. Okay? So on your paper, don't try to do these on your notebook, this paper, there's not enough room. So get your notebook paper out. You can pause me at any time, just don't mute me. All right, number 4. -3 is less than 2k minus 5 less than 7. All right, and statement. So you can separate if you want. I don't care to, I think it takes too long. -3 plus 5 is 2. Less than 2k, that goes away, is less than 2. Okay, now this step and what I'm going to do here, you don't have to show me that you're adding 5 each time or dividing by 2, but you must show me this step here. Okay, now that's positive. I always check that to make sure you have to change your sign or not. You don't. So this is just 1. So k, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. What's wrong? Oh, right here. Woohoo. Okay, 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, so we made a mistake there. And luckily, you kind of just makes sense because 1, anyway, I won't go into that whole story. All right, here we go, graphing. 1 to 6. So you don't, if you want to do each number, that's not that bad, but you don't have to have your 0 right in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so open circle on both, and it's an and statement. Voila, done. Okay, then 6. 6 is an or statement, so that was and this is an or. All right, so 2p plus 1 less than -7, or 3 minus 2p. I can see a potential error here, so be careful. All right, no shortcuts, you just have to solve them individually. And what I'm going to recommend is that you solve one completely and then move over to the other one. Don't try to solve them doing this first step on both. Okay, so we got to get rid of the -1. I can see an error, potential error here. Watch your signs. -7 minus 1 is really saying like a -7 plus a -1. So this is a -8. divide by 2. P is going to be less than negative 4. Don't flip the sign. It's only when you multiply or divide by a negative. Doesn't matter if that's negative, only if you multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, so then I'm going to subtract. Now this is subtracting 3 because that's a positive 3. So subtract 3. Negative 2p is less than or equal to negative 4. Now divide by a negative. So your p, you're going to reverse the sign. Oops, make sure your negative goes with it. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. Make sure you write the or there. And make sure it makes sense. Okay, so your number negative 4, positive 2. Now graph it. Check your inequality signs. Negative 4 and 2, so I would say just let's go up by 2's. Okay, so negative 4, open circle, going that way. Close circle, going that way. If you want to test it, I would go in and test then a number that would fit and see if it really does match and work in your inequality. But that's how you solve the and or inequalities. What I would like for you to work on and have done by Monday when you return is I would like for you to look at page 85. Ooh, I like these fractions. Okay, I'm going to assign some of these too. All right, what I would like for you to do is to, looking at all these, I really do like them all. I like 13 all the way to 20. So I want you to work 13 through 20. These fractions here, don't make it too tough. Look at these numbers. Just distribute that half of 4 and half of 16. And here, 15 and 12, it's nice because it's 1/3. Distribute 1/3 times 15, 1/3 times 12. Watch that negative. Distribute that 7 first. So I would 13 through 20 when you return on Monday. Happy working. Thanks for listening to me teach you today. Bye-bye.